Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Karishma Connect, Sushmitha. It's a pleasure to host you, and I can't wait to know more about your journey.
The feeling is mutual, Karishma, and this is my first podcast, so I'm as excited as you are.
Love the first. I've had so many on this podcast, and it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, and may you grow from here on. For my listeners, this is Sushmitha Bhatt, actress and content creator, right here with me on Karishma Connect. And we're looking forward to talking about, of course, content creation, but her journey, her experiences, her insights, and all that only on Karishma Connect. So thank you once again for tuning in. Sushmita, the first question I ask on this podcast is about the journey. Tell me, how have you managed to reach where you are today and what's gone into making that possible for yourself?
Um, okay, I think I've had a pretty good life. I think you think your life is going good, and then suddenly you hit an exciting chapter, and your life becomes even more exciting. And after that, you just keep getting luckier by day. And I am riding that peak at the moment. And I don't know what to say. If you ask me how did I reach here, it was not my intention to be a part of any of this, but then it just happened. And somewhere deep down, I was always creatively aligned. And I mean, thankfully, I'm getting to do that as part of my job today. And yeah, that's I think makes me very, very lucky. So it all started with a photo shoot. We wanted to do something creative, and me and my photographer Biplab,
Mm,
he's a good friend right now, and we tried to do a retro styled sari video, which was not very common back then. And we put a reel and like a post and everything, and then it went viral, and through which I started getting noticed in many avenues. And by then I was already I had acted in two films, but then that was not a very what do you call a big budgeted ones which had much notice out there.
mm,
But this really gave me a push into getting noticed with many directors from many other languages, different states, etc. And so yeah, it's sort of I had no idea we could make use of Instagram this way.
mm.
It's basically acting like my portfolio at the moment,
Yeah.
where I can pitch my work to everyone else. And after this, if you say before this happened to how was it after, it definitely gave me a lot of opportunities to pick from.
Mm,
But the struggle of, I would say, see, even in that, uh, there are opportunities which you would know that, okay, this would definitely make me famous because this has this director in it and it's produced by this production house, which is pretty famous, and then it would put me on a map somewhere. You'd always think that, but to reach that level, there is a lot of economics involved. So people do think if I am putting my money on you, then how much am I getting back in return? So you have to be pretty famous to begin with. And in order to reach that stage, you have to do a lot of movies and you have to, I mean, this is like striking gold. You never know when that happens.
yeah.
If you do a movie which you never thought would become a hit, then I think you've hit the jackpot. And then I think more and more opportunities start flowing in, and that's how you make it big. But yeah, till then you are in this rat race together with everyone else. And I'm probably, I can say I'm like a 10% better than I was when I was like in the struggling phase at the moment. But it is still a lot of struggle to get yourself noticed and market yourself out there.
But you mentioned a very interesting thing, which I think is a trend of the moment, because I remember even 5 years ago or 6 years ago, when we had some of our university batchmates kind of getting out of college and getting into modeling and acting and everything. I think at that time there was still this aspect of, you have to go there, you have to do the auditions, you have to kind of roam around the film circles, the film areas. But today, like you said, Instagram. or TikTok, wherever that is applicable, or any other platform, has become so concrete that there are people making their way into showbiz just through that. But and you have that experience. How have you though? What is the formula to treat your sort of social platform as a portfolio? What shift should one make if they are looking to get started? What is the kind of shift they need to make from profile to portfolio on a social platform?
First thing would be to very carefully choose what you're posting out there,
Mm,
and because if you have a decent portfolio that is always respected among the director circles,
mm,
and you will be cast according to what you post. And if you're looking for a very glamorous kind of roles, then post such pictures. And if you are more of a modest character loving person, then you have to post accordingly, because I've seen this getting stereotyped a lot.
mm,
And along with it, probably a little bits of you acting to something, like probably saying a monologue or acting out a scene, and your beauty shots along with a song and slow motion videos. All these things would definitely help in putting your work out there. But I think mostly what would be seen are the beauty shots and images of yourself in different attires, to give an idea of what kind of characters you can pull off and what kind of costumes you can pull off. So if you're confident about what you're wearing and the kind of pictures you're posting, then I think that would reduce your work by 60%.
And have you faced any challenges along the way? Have you faced any, how have you kind of navigated challenges that have come along the way? Because it could be the fame hitting suddenly, it could be certain scenarios that you've been part of, or it could be the weight of actually finding that ideal script that has connection with you, and you want to take it up, and you're also going through your struggling days, and you feel like, okay, is it going to work out? Not, it could be anything. What are the kind of challenges you think people should know about, when they're listening into this podcast, about the journey that follows?
Challenges. Okay, when I started out, I think I had absolutely, I think, very meager number of followers,
Mm,
and the kind of opportunities that came to me was basically from my network. Like you said, we used to go around looking for auditions, or through our network, if somebody pings you and says there's an audition here, can you self tape? Can you send your self taped videos? We would just leave all our work behind, just go do an audition, capture it, and then send it out.
mm,
It was more like this. And I think my reason for like starting out in this field was to uh, try if I can do it.
mm,
It was more like, okay, this is okay. By the way, I started during COVID. So during COVID, I did not have much to look forward to, and with respect to my work or whatever I was doing at home, I was extremely bored, and I wanted to try my hand at acting. And I started taping myself, and then sent out my work, and a few people noticed and called me out for auditions, and that's how I landed my first role. But after that, it was not much, to be honest, because nobody really knew me back then.
mm,
And what exactly I did for that, I think that's when I started clicking pictures of myself with
mm,
photographers and putting my stuff out there. And that's how my Instagram circle also grew. And yeah. After that, with respect to taking up the opportunities, I literally grabbed everything that came my way, because I had nothing to show off in my CV. At least something, some short films, or one feature, or a TV soap, or anything. I was looking forward to do anything, even like a test shoots and advertisements, literally anything you give me. And I had taken 3 4 projects like that, which helped me get confident in front of the camera, and to see what are the best angles that I can work out, how I can deliver my lines, etc. And I, after getting a little hold on my craft, I started actually picking the scripts which made sense to me. A little bit of analysis of the story, etc. Then I started thinking a little deeper into the character and said, okay, probably this, probably that. I mean, you can never be 100% sure what might, shake the market and like give you a hit, but then you wouldn't accept anything that comes your way also. You would be really careful about picking, uh, because if you know that you can do it, if you can do a little better, you would want your team also to be equally competent, uh, to get your work out there. It shouldn't be like whatever you've done will go in vain if the team is not competent enough.
Yeah.
So those sort of things that I think that will naturally come to anyone once they get into the industry.
And which one remains your most sort of memorable project to date?
I think that is pretty easy. I did a movie with Gautam Vasudev Menon sir and Mammootty sir. So this is, I think, one of my uh, best work out there, because I've given my everything to actually, uh,
Roots.
because I had no idea about the language, and there were certain things that I was supposed to do as part of acting, like physical fight and dance, etc. But yeah, it took a lot from me. But then I'm happy of how the output has come. So I think that will remain my biggest, most loved work personally.
And you worked with such big stalwarts, from the industry. What did you learn from that process? Like I've had actors on the show before who are in the early stages of their career. And in fact, I had somebody from the Marathi film industry who had joined me on the podcast. And she had mentioned to me about how working with veteran actors or working with actors who've been in the industry for so long gives you a feeling of groundedness and humbleness because they are working so tirelessly on an everyday basis. And I found that really insightful. So I want to ask you as well that what was that process like? What did you take away from being on set or among that kind of a staff?
First thing, my biggest learning was the kind of body language that the actors carry along with their characters. Because as soon as I heard these are the people I'm working with, I became extremely stiff and I was not moving around much. And you're like, I'll just do what you tell me to do and then I'll go back.
Ah,
I don't want to waste your time. You don't have to correct me. I'm just going to stand here and do nothing. I was more like that. But then certain people, when you see them come in front of the camera, you feel a certain thing looking at them. You feel like they know what they're doing.
yeah,
And Mammootty sir is a great example for that, because along with remembering his lines, he also remembered what I had to say and how I had to move around so that I don't block him or I don't come in front of the camera and block rest of the actors. And he was absolutely wonderful at figuring out how an entire scene needs to be done. And before that, we would have practiced, I think, 5 6 times before he comes on the spot.
yeah, yeah,
So even with all that, it's pretty amazing, the things that he tells you to do, like where your hand should be kept and how you should turn and look, and such kind of things. I learned a lot from him. And GVM sir, he's extremely special because he sort of breaks all the stereotypical acting that we commonly do, and just tells me to be a little nonchalant about things. You don't think you're acting in the movie. You just be natural. You just do what comes to your mind. What's the first thing that you would do if cameras were not pointed at you? Such kind of things was a little hard for me to do, mainly because there were such people involved. And also a good takeaway, because tomorrow, even if any big name is there in front of me, I don't want to give into that feeling of, oh, they're there, like, no, what should I do?
yeah,
No,
yeah,
but just concentrate on yourself and how you're delivering the line, and that will sort of impress them. You never know.
yeah. Yeah. Good. Your outlook on life, how has that changed, ever since you've received all of this?
Ah, okay. And people are extremely creative. We think that we have achieved something by getting into this project, but then when you see the people around you, the technical team of a movie, and say the director, the producers, and the production design team, when you see all of them, you feel like you are very creatively challenged because envisioning your character, that's the only goal that you have throughout the project. But for them, it's the envisioning of your the characters inside the movie and the environment where they have to live in, and
Yeah.
uh, how they can stitch it up together, and how the narrative should go, and all that is an extremely complicated process that you will know once you get into it, and you feel you're not even doing anything, not even a dot in the whole universe.
Mm.
You know, it, yeah, even that makes you feel extremely dumb when you go into the set. Uh, yeah.
Tell me, Sushmita, what is that one thing that you want to be remembered for in life and as an artist?
Uh, Okay, if you had asked me this when I was a kid, I think I would say I want to invent something or like discover something so that my name is forever etched in history books.
Huh.
But then now that I've grown enough to know that I can't do either, uh, I think it's more into as you grow older, I think you always miss sort of companionships, people around you.
Yeah.
You always want to keep them happy and give out as much love as you can to people who care for you, and yeah, be compassionate towards people because yeah, you never know, they are the only ones who's going to remember you later when you die maybe.
True, very true. And tell me, for the people watching this, if they are looking to enter, you've already answered this question again, but when it comes to Instagram, at least, the last guest I had on the show said consistency was the most important to make sure you're reaching the right audience. You've got your numbers sorted, you've got your partnerships and collabs coming in, and you're kind of building that in a way that is also profitable because at the end of the day, we also need to bring food to the table and grow and etc. What is your hack to maintaining that reach?
Okay, yeah, Instagram can be a little tricky if you're only looking at the number of likes and views and etc. It can get you paranoid at times. But I think what you should bank on is creativity, because as long as people see something different from what everyone else is doing on Instagram, it would always get more views.
Mm.
And probably if we can watch a lot of YouTube videos these days, they always have hacks on like how to get somebody hooked onto your video.
Mm.
I would always say probably if you have something which is of value, people tend to watch that nowadays. It's not the empty reels or like reels with songs around. That's not going to work. I think in the future, it's more like if somebody is taking time to watch something on social media,
Mm.
they would see what value this is providing me. What am I learning from this? So probably if you can like select a niche where you're giving something out, you're giving an educational value to your viewers, that would also um, help you grow. So I see a lot of actors putting out these videos of like, I auditioned for this and this is how it came out, and what did I do in my audition which made the director like it and like uh, pick me for their project. And like that, there are several actors who also give insights on like how much you have to uh, ask for as pay as your remuneration, and how much you can negotiate with it, and etc. There are a lot of insight, tons of insight.
Right.
And
Well,
yeah, I was extremely happy to see somebody is providing all these things. We did not have it, and it was more like, I have done a lot of free shoots and stuff, and of course I was still growing and I wouldn't haggle because the opportunity was way more important to me than the money that I was getting out of it. So if you're starting out, I would say pick as many free opportunities, and like don't expect money from any of it, because you are getting a platform for yourself. That is one thing, and it always helps to be associated with a talent agency.
Mm.
because they will help you. They'll help pitching your work to their clients. That way, you'll get more visibility. And there are a lot such agencies which will not expect any money in return for keeping your profile. So we can explore that. And of course, like open your account on all the socials wherever you see. Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, Facebook, any avenues where you can, self-market yourself, pick that and put as much content out there. We never know what might click.
What's next? Yeah. Yeah. And my last question to you is, what is the dream role that you're looking forward to?
What is my dream role? I have a lot in my bucket list actually. I want to do horror, I want to do a psycho thriller, I want to do comedy, and I want to do a romantic uh, movie, everything. Like there are a lot. I don't want to specifically restrict myself, but then I love playing something in a horror comedy. That is a very hard genre to master. And I would say, somebody please give me a horror comedy or a psycho thriller to be part of.
I hope this reaches the right spot and you get that. More power to you, Sushmita. It's been a pleasure and really all the very best. And I really hope that, you achieve everything you dream of. And we do another podcast then.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Thank you once again. Give me
Thank you so much for having me. I think the questions you asked really made me think a lot. Just as if looking into my brain and, bringing out some memories and things about myself. And thank you for that.